what's going on? It's Jose Arias. This is podcast number 6 of Hourglass Eyes. And I'm back and I want to do my show again for you this week. I want to thank Spreaker.com for hosting my show. If you look on YouTube.com or check on iTunes, you'll find my page, Hourglass Eyes. If you enjoy my show and you enjoy my topics and my conversations, like and subscribe. If you don't, well, just send me a comment. Tell me what you don't like and tell me what I can do to improve. I know that the past few weeks I've gotten off topic and I've spoken about different topics other than the one I spoke about in my first podcast. And I'm sorry about that, but I got a little distracted and I wanted to talk about different things. And once in a while I'll get off topic, but for the most part, my main area of topics and issues for the podcast will be science fiction and fantasy stories. I'll write reviews. I'll talk about my favorite characters, what influences they have, what influences were on the authors who created them, and any topics of interest that you might enjoy, you might comment on that you want me to talk about. Just let me know, and I'll talk about it. And once in a while, I've had a few requests for guests to interview, so I'm working on that too. We'll see what happens in the coming days. But anyway, I wanted to get back to Raistlin and why he's my favorite character. Raistlin, as I said before, is the mage in the band of characters who were known as the companions in Dragonlance Chronicles. He was a sickly, pale youth when he was young, and he always depended on his brother for protection. He then took the tower. He became a powerful mage, and it was through sheer sacrifice and will that he achieved this goal. Because he had to take a very painful test at the Tower of High Sorcery in Palanthas, and the test was extremely difficult. And in order to pass the test, he made a deal with an evil wizard who took over his body for a time to pass the test. And also one thing that was especially telling is that, if Raistlin is part of a twin. His brother's name is Caramon. Caramon is the big, burly, handsome brother of Raistlin. Caramon and Raistlin have a very contentious and just difficult relationship, mostly on the part of Raistlin, because Raistlin resents him so much, because Raistlin is weak and Caramon is strong, and Raistlin feels that the strong part of his body was transferred to his twin unfairly, and he felt that if he was born a whole person, strong and intelligent in spirit, he would have been the perfect person. But he was born just with half of that, and he didn't have he had to compensate for that, and so he depended on his brother. So one of the things that really shook Raistlin to the core was during the exam in the Tower of High Sorcery. Caramon was taking the test himself, and Raistlin saw that he was taking the test, and Raistlin used a spell of powerful magic. And this set Raistlin off completely because he was the magician. He was known as a magician. Only he was the magician. Caramon already had his looks and his muscles and his strength. He didn't need to take the one thing that Raistlin had, which was his magic. So Raistlin actually killed his brother, thinking that it was his brother. He killed him during the trials at the Tower of High Sorcery. And Caramon and the overseers, the people who were overseeing the exam, had forced Caramon to watch this, and that just lets you know how far Raistlin was willing to go to achieve his goals. He was, I read an interview that Margaret Weiss did, where she was interviewed, Margaret Weiss being the author of the Dragonlance Chronicles and the Test of the Twins. She created the character. She created the character from, she was given a setup from Dungeons & Dragons. They gave her a character sheet, and she basically had to flesh out the character in a novel. And as she got deeper into the character, it became one of her favorite characters. She related to his struggles and his resentment towards his stronger, well-built brother. And she asked, "Why does he have golden skin and hourglass eyes?" And the people at Dungeons & Dragons told her that they gave him that because it made him look cool, and that was all they said. So she had to dig deeper and develop the storyline in order to explain why he had golden skin and hourglass eyes. And as I said before, the golden skin was sort of a shield to protect him from strong magic. And the Hourglass Eyes, if you didn't know, was gave him the ability to see life as it passed by in human elven form. So when he looked at a human woman or human man, he saw them dying before his eyes, through his eyes. And elves, since they lived longer and they were practically immortal, he even saw them withering and dying as well, but not to the extent of humans. So Raistlin was a perplexing but deeply conflicting character. And that's why he became one of our favorite characters, because he had all this put upon him, and he struggled and overcame these obstacles to become the greatest mage of all time. Now, I'm just going to list a few quotes that are my favorite of Raistlin's to show you why I love him so much. One of the quotes that he has is, "Hope is the denial of reality. It is the carrot dangled before the draft horse to keep him from plodding along in the vain attempt to reach it." And Raistlin is saying there that you can have hope, but you just can't live on hope alone. You need to work towards your goal, and to live on hope alone is just like a carrot being put in front of a horse, teasing it to the extent that the carrot is never in reach of the horse. Just like hope, you can't just hope for something to happen and keep reaching out for it to happen and reaching and doing nothing about it. You have to actually work at it and fight against it every day. And it's a great quote, and from a character who had so much put upon him, to see things like that is deeply inspirational. Another quote, and this is a good one. This is a quote from one of the characters in the story. His name is Lord Soth. Lord Soth is a Death Knight, and Death Knights in the story of Dungeons and Dragons are powerful creatures that were raised from the dead. And Lord Soth was a knight of Solamnia, and he had the power when he was raised from the dead to basically point at you, and you were literally dead. So technically, he was death itself. He was very powerful. He had powerful magic. He had an army of the undead to follow him, and they came like a wave upon an army on a battlefield that just slew everybody in sight. They were unstoppable. So Lord Soth, talking to Raistlin, said this: "I can kill with a single word. I can hurl a ball of fire into the midst of my enemies. I rule a squadron of skeletal warriors who can destroy by touch alone. I can raise a wall of ice to protect those I serve. The invisible is discernible to my eyes. Ordinary magic spells crumble in my presence, but I bow in the presence of a master." Lord Soft raised him a jeer. Margaret Weiss, Time of the Twins. Just think about that. This is a creature who fears nothing, because he's so powerful that nothing can put the fear of God in him. Nothing can scare him. But when he's in the presence of Raistlin, who up to that point, if you were reading along with the story, you know he was weak and sickly. And when he donned the black robes, he became Lord of the Past and Present, became more super powerful. For Lord Soft to say he bows in the presence of his master, which is Raistlin, lets you know all you need to know about what willpower and what strength of character Raistlin Majir had. I mean, he does some evil things throughout the arc of the story, but he did it. I'm not trying to justify what he did and what he tried to do in those evil ways, but he did it to achieve his ends and to get stronger. And nothing was going to stop him. Not even his physical weaknesses. Nothing. He had the strength and the intellect and the power of will to achieve his goals. And he was a scary dude. And he's just the coolest character around. And one of the greatest characters ever created for fantasy. He also said this: "You cannot hide from danger. Death floats on the air. It creeps through the windows, comes with a handshake of a stranger. If we stop living because we fear death, then we have already died." That, it speaks for itself. Just think about that for a second. If we stop living because we fear death, then we're already dead. I don't need to say anything more about that than what is already said. You need to live life to the fullest and wake up every day just happy to be alive and happy to be seeing of the day. Raistlin, all he saw was death through his eyes. He was weak. He had fits of powerful coughs which racked his body. He resented his brother but depended on him at the same time. And he said that. To say that is words can't describe it. It leaves me speechless. And it makes me love him even more. And it's a great quote and a great way to live your life and to go forward with your lives. So that's all I got to say this week about Raistlin Majir. My future podcast, I'm gonna try to do some reviews of books that I've read of characters that remind me of Raistlin Majir. And I'll talk about that. I also have an interview coming up soon with my son who's dying to be a part of my podcast. We're gonna talk about Pokemon. So we're working on that right now, and we're gonna look towards that goal. And if you follow along with this podcast and you enjoyed it, I greatly appreciate you being here. And I hope you like the new theme song, because I know I got a lot of complaints about my theme music, so I changed it a little bit. And I also heard a lot of complaints that I said the word great a lot. I apologize for that. I was a little nervous on my earlier podcast, so I didn't mean to say great so much. I'll try to watch my words and slow it down a little bit more too, because I tend to talk fast. But anyway, thanks for your reviews. If you like my podcast, please shoot me a comment, like and subscribe to my channel. It's on YouTube, Hourglass Eyes, Raistlin Majir. You can look it up by doing a search, or on iTunes. And I'll talk to you next week. Live it up, live it up, live it up, live it up. Fight for life. Tribe Called Quest. Loving it. I can't help but sing along to that song. It's hot. Live it up, live it up. I started again for you.